Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to beautiful San Jose, California, the site of this afternoon's battle between your Northern Arizona Wranglers and the Bay Area Panthers. It's going to be a Western Conference matchup this afternoon. We're excited to bring it to you here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers YouTube channel for the pregame show. James Poovey coming to you live here alongside my broadcast partner, Mr. Ed Cole. Ed, this is going to be a fantastic battle this afternoon between the Panthers and the Wranglers, and it's going to be a fun time. I'm excited to bring the pregame show here and get everybody ready for this afternoon's action.
I'm excited too, James. This is a huge matchup between the Wranglers and the Panthers. Of course, this is the Wranglers' first road trip of the season. We had our first 3 games at home, went good on that homestand, JP, with a bye week mixed in there, 2-1 on the homestand, 2 straight victories. So it would be great to be able to chalk up a 3rd consecutive victory if they can get out of the SAP Center in San Jose, which is a very hard place to get a victory in. Ask the Arizona Rattlers.
Yes, it is indeed. And obviously the Bay Area Panthers under new direction this season, under the direction of Coach Darren Arbed, who was in the broadcast booth last year. So I'm excited to see what he's got dialed in for these guys. And it should be a great night of football. We're going to head out to the SAP Center right now, as a matter of fact, and check in with Mr. Tucker Welch, the Director of Communications there for the Northern Arizona Wranglers. He's checking in with us right now. Tucker, how are you today? And things are looking good there on the field. The guys are about ready to roll.
Yes, sir. I'm excited, man. I think today the key to the matchup is shutting down the Panthers' run game. That is my opinion here. I think if we do that offensively, things will take care of themselves. We can put up some points and come out of here with a win. That's the goal.
What was the overall mood of the team today as you guys traveled there to Bay Area? Obviously, you got there yesterday, spent the night, and what's the overall mood of the team today as everybody got ready for the game tonight?
Everybody's ready to go. I think it's pretty intense down here. You know, we got some friends from our 2022 championship run on the other side, and that keeps the intensity level up. Everybody wants to win this game on both sides, and I think it's going to be a great game, and we're going to have a lot of fun today.
Yeah, Tuck, this is interesting. I like you mentioned Rob Keefe is the defensive coordinator. Of course, we know him from last year, the defensive coordinator for our championship team last year. And so many players from that championship defense are now with the Bay Area Panthers. So I think it's going to be a defensive battle with Coach Simpson's defense and the way they played last week against San Diego. And, of course, we know what Coach Keefe can do with his defense out there in Bay Area. This should be a really good matchup from 2 really good defenses.
Absolutely. That's what I'm looking for today. I think it'll be really close down to the wire.
Well, it's going to be an outstanding matchup this evening. Tuck, thank you so much for joining us. You see the fantastic field level shot there inside the SAP Center. The fans starting to fill up the building right now, and we'll continue to check back in with Tucker here in just a little bit here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers pregame show as we get you ready for Wranglers at Panthers tonight. Let's step aside, take a short commercial break, and when we return, we'll visit with the voice of the Bay Area Panthers, Mr. Dave Lewis. He'll have the call tonight with Steve Pappen in the booth there at the SAP Center. Stay with us here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers pregame show. We'll return and visit with Mr. Lewis right after this.
That's funny. Desert School's changed their name.
Yeah, now it's Desert Financial.
Alice Cooper! Wait, what are you doing here?
I'm telling everyone, school's out.
For summer?
Forever.
Whoa! Whoa!
Dude, put your card in.
You got a voice, Molly. Use it. Do it for the phone.
Let's do it for the phone. They do so much for you. When they're out there all alone, there's something we can do. T-Mobile, look at these maps, they don't lie. And faster speeds nationwide. Let's do it for
We welcome you back here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers pregame show. I'm pleased now to be joined by the play-by-play voice of the Bay Area Panthers, Mr. Dave Lewis. Dave, so great to see you. Always good to catch up with you, my friend. How are things out there in Bay Area with the Panthers? And talk to us first off about Coach Arbette returning to the coach's booth there and putting a whistle back on this season.
Well, last year you had him and I on as the guests, and he's much more funny and joyous as just a regular guy. He's more in coach mode right now. He's still a good guy to be around, but right now focused and coming off a tough loss at home to Tucson. So he told me it took a couple of days to get over it. He was in a pretty good mood by midweek, and feels like, hey, we're just a couple plays away. As you know, James, every IFL game comes down to 3-4 plays. You make those, you win. You don't, you lose, and that's been the case for us the last couple of games.
Well, you guys are loaded with talent once again out there with the Bay Area Panthers. Talk about Coach Keefe coming in on the defensive side of the football. Has he lit a spark under the defense there for Bay Area?
Well, the first couple of games, we were mid-50s in terms of points allowed, so the bye week really helped. And he had his guys breathing fire. A few guys right? 6 of the 8 starters off last year's championship team. So he brought some dudes with him that are really the anchors of that program. So they had an outstanding defensive game against Tucson, 5 stops. Normally that's enough to get you a win. Had 3 consecutive stops to start the game and only gave up the 1 touchdown in the first half. So that side of the ball really tightening up, and the guys are really buying in.
Talk about your broadcast booth this season. Obviously some changes there with Coach Arbette going back down to the field. Talk about the guys you have joining you in the booth this season.
We've got a couple guys that have big-time indoor arena football credibility. Steve Pappen was an all-AFL running back, went back in the Sabercat days. He did the national broadcast on ESPN as a sideline reporter. And Aaron Garcia is the most prolific indoor passer of all time. We're talking 62,000 career yards throwing the football over about 20 years in his career. He was throwing it in his 40s and still making it work. Over 1,300 career touchdown passes. So he gives us some real credibility in the booth. He does a lot of the TV games with us at home.
Dave, talk about the game against Tucson. You mentioned it a little bit ago. A tough loss there. We have to, unfortunately. We got to talk about that game because Tucson is really surprising the IFL this season. They've come out, they're undefeated as we speak right now, and they're a battle-tested team so far here early in the season. Talk about that game you guys had last week against them, a 4-point loss, but a battle all the way.
I knew you were going to make me go there. It was it was one that I think any coach or anyone connected to the Panthers would say would slip away, because we jumped out to a 16-0 lead. And I really think the turning point of that game was late in the second quarter. We're about to go up 19-0. We've got a field goal blocked. So instead, Tucson goes down and scores a touchdown to close out the half to make it 16-7. They get the first possession of the third quarter. After deferring on the coin toss, go down and score. At that point, the game's up for grabs. So we had a chance to really put them away early on and unable to seal the deal. And, in indoor, when you have a chance to put a team away, you've got to do it like you guys did against San Diego. So I know offensively, we got to, fine tune some things, being able to convert on third down, being able to convert in short yardage situations. But the staff feels like the pieces are there, always doing some fine tuning with personnel. But in general, the pieces are there to make a run. And, the experts said, James going into this season, they're, number 2 by the coaches poll. So it's a team expected to do, big things, and obviously a long way in the season to go.
Well, with Coach Arbette getting back down on the field, how has he been able to put his stamp on this team early in the early portion of this season, Dave?
Well, you hear that term, establishing a culture, and that really has been the tone that he's set in terms of how they do things, how they arrive on time, how they put in the work. He's often said in front of folks in the media and the teams that, hey, you don't have to love me. You just have to respect the position. And he's got to respect those guys in that locker room. Coming off a 1-15 season last year, there's only a couple of guys that were on that team that are back this season. So really, it's not anybody that is trying to bounce back from 1-15. It's a whole new team, whole new coaching staff, and a whole new way of doing things.
We talked about the defense a little bit, Dave, with acquisitions that you guys got in the offseason. A couple of guys obviously familiar with our Northern Arizona Wranglers, Darren Hungerford among those guys. On the offensive side of the ball, you've got Dalton Snead at quarterback. He's been really impressive in the IFL. He got the first start of his career last year in the IFL with the Vegas Nighthawks and then was soon sent on his way. What has he done for the offense there in Bay Area?
Well, you know, Coach Arbette and I saw him firsthand when we took a trip to Sioux Falls, and he lit us up. And I remember Coach Arbette saying, "Man, that guy's good." And I know at that time, Coach Rigg really liked him, was sold on him, and had a great season. So I know Coach Arbette in the back of his mind said, "Man, I really like that guy. He could be a franchise quarterback on a team that was really good. He can run it." He was a great player at Montana. He was an all Big Sky performer. He had a 200-yard rushing game as a college player when he was facing Sacramento State, and can throw the ball. He's got a good arm in this league. So he's definitely a duel for that guy, but still learning the nuances. Had some problems with some throws he missed against the Tucson zone, but working out the kinks in practice this week. And I'm sure he'll be fired up and ready to go on Sunday.
Looking forward to the game here tonight, Dave. What are you expecting to see between these Bay Area Panthers and the Northern Arizona Wranglers? What have you seen from the Wranglers on film thus far?
Well, I know that there's not a lot of use with the running back, a lot of empty set stuff. You got a new quarterback in Kettle, but what I see is consistency with that coaching staff. You know, Coach Moss knows how to win. Rod Windsor knows how to win, knows how to really develop players, plug in new guys in a system. You know, you're rebuilding that defense basically from scratch, and have given up, that 9, which is the lowest in franchise history, I believe, and the lowest that I remember. I don't know if anyone went lower than 9 a year ago, but it's certainly tough to hold a team like that in the indoor football league. So, I give credit to that staff for keeping these going. They've got a system in place, and they built the culture from that 1-win season to a championship. So, I'm not really surprised they're doing as well as they are this year.
Always a pleasure to catch up with the voice of the Bay Area Panthers, Mr. Dave Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us here on the pregame show. We really appreciate it. Have a great call tonight. We really appreciate your time, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon. And we look forward to seeing you in Prescott Valley, hopefully in the years to come as well, Dave.
Appreciate you having me, and I'll be better dressed when we go on TV in just a bit. I promise.
You are all good. We'll be right back here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers pregame show as we continue to get you set for the kickoff between Bay Area and your Northern Arizona Wranglers. Stay with us.
There's a little piece of magic in the heart of the Verde Valley, where adventure is encouraged. Whether you're whining and dining, rocking and rolling, or pushing and pulling, it's your adventure. Play however you choose.
To say you don't have the skills to reach the top. Who's to say you don't have power?
This is how we do it. This is how we do it for the top.
Who's to say you can't own the stage? Who's to say you can't put a team together? Who's to say who's best? The best ever? Or who will be in the future? And with this game-changing team to inspire us, who's to say what's possible for you? Pepsi, play to inspire.
We welcome you back here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers pregame show. You're taking a look right there at the SAP Center live in San Jose, California right now as we speak. Ed, we're getting ready for an exciting matchup here between our Wranglers and the Panthers, and this is going to be a slugfest with a couple of names we're very familiar with there on that roster and that coaching staff as well there in San Jose.
Oh yeah, James. When you look down this roster, you see Kenton Bartley, you see Marquise Bridges, you see you mentioned Trey Meadows, Tevin Homer. My goodness, you look up and down this roster. So many Northern Arizona Wranglers defensive players from a year ago. Meek Watkins is on the roster for the Bay Area Panthers. And, of course, Rob Keefe, the defensive coordinator who was the DC last year for our championship team. So it's going to be a pretty familiar a reunion of sorts until the game kicks off, and then it's all about battle. It's all about who's going to be the best football team that can come out after 60 minutes of football and be the best team that can play better, the best offense, the best defense, the best special teams. Who's the more complete team this afternoon in San Jose will be the victor.
Well, how much do you think that plays into the game today, Ed? Obviously, the familiarity between these coaching staffs. Obviously, Coach Keefe with us last season during the championship run, and he's been with Coach Moss for a couple of years, even prior to that. How much do you think that plays into the gamesmanship, if you will, today? I think it's going to play a lot, because Coach Keefe and the players, the defensive players, and of course Meek, who was on our team last year. Of course, I know they want to come out and have a good showing against their former team, against Coach Moss and Coach Windsor, and against Coach Simpson, and see what kind of game plan they can have and how well they can come out and play against a national championship team, the team they won a championship with just a few short months ago, back in August 13th to be exact, in Henderson, Nevada. But it's going to be a great game. I want to see which defense is the better defense, because these are two outstanding defensive coordinators with outstanding defensive players on them. And if the Wranglers can come out with a defensive performance, James, like we saw last Sunday up in Prescott Valley when they held San Diego to 184 yards of offense in the Indoor Football League, that's unheard of. And to hold a team to 9 points in this game, James, where it's all about scoring, it's all about pace, going up and down the field and scoring as many points and just making big plays. But to hold San Diego to 9 points last week, that defense was on fire. Absolutely maniacal. The defense has been all season long. We talk about the parity all season here in the IFL, Ed, and it just continues. Even this past weekend, we've had some games go down to the wire, even last night, and it's just amazing to see the competition in the league, and it just continues to intensify. And this, we talked about it a little bit earlier, the defensive battle that this will be here tonight is going to be another one of those close games, and this one could be a 1-2 point ball game when it's all said and done. It could be. Depends on how it plays. I want to see how Garrett Kettle comes out. Should he get the start? I'm assuming he'll be the starter today. Garrett Kettle can come out. If Ryan Wisniewski, I want to see him follow up his 5-touchdown, 125-yard, 4-touchdown performance last week against San Diego. Can he come out and have another strong performance? Can Ramad Jakial Bowman, the offensive player of the week a few weeks back, can he come out and have another strong performance? I want to see Garrett Kettle take those next steps, James, as he continues to grow and learn how this Indoor Football League system and the way it works. And I'm just so impressed by this young man over the first three games of the season, how he's picking up this system so fast. I'm excited to see it as well, Ed, and we're going to see all that stuff on the field there tonight inside the SAP Center. Let's take another short commercial timeout, and when we return, we'll wrap up the pregame show and get you headed over to the IFL Digital Network YouTube channel for the call of the game tonight. It'll be Dave Lewis, the voice of the Bay Area Panthers, and Steve Pappen on the call. That'll be a 5:05 kickoff, just about 15 minutes away from now. Let's step aside, take a short timeout, and when we return, we'll wrap up the pregame show right here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers YouTube channel.
Obviously, we got termites.
Well, the first thing is, you got to know what they're biting on.
Whoa, yeah.
This aged birchwood is perfect for the big ones this time of year.
Oh.
They gobble it up like a candy bar.
Nice.
What's going on? What? I told you to hire a pro.
I did get a pro.
An Orkin pro.
I got this.
Got termites? Don't call any pro. Call the Orkin Pro. With over 120 years of experience, nobody's better. Orkin, the best in pests.
You're still paying me for this.
Nope, just relax.
And that's cut. We are clear.
Come on, Playmaker. Why you always got to be so awkward on camera? I would say you make me look bad, but we both know that is entirely impossible.
It was possible back in the day on the football field, that's for sure.
You got to be losing your mind. Somebody roll back these tapes, man. Can somebody get this man some water? He ain't feeling well. Please, somebody.
We'll all feel better when you stop all that trash talk.
Dog, are you serious? Look like you needed some real trash talk. See, this ain't trash. This is recycling, which means it goes in the recycling bin. Schooling you again, Playmaker, as usual.
The only thing you ever schooled me on was how to get away with bad calls. That was embarrassing.
Not as embarrassing as you putting recyclables in the trash can.
When did we start talking about your touchdown dance? That was embarrassing.
You've gone too far.
Look like old days. Boy, you know I love you.
Know the difference? Make a difference. Be a team player and recycle. Visit PepsiTrashTalk.com to learn more.
We welcome you back here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers pregame show. There you see live inside the SAP Center. They're getting ready for things. The Wranglers back there behind the screen. You can see it right there. And let's see if we can bring a little bit of audio in there and get you a feel. We're about ready to kick this thing off. We're 15 minutes away from official kickoff. And you see the boys getting ready to come out of the tunnel right there. Thanks to our Director of Communications, Tucker Welch, for that magnificent shot. I love the icy white look tonight, Ed. White on white with white hats. And they're ready to come out here and rock and roll, it looks like, my friend.
You know they are. Coach Moss is getting them lined up. I can see Garrett Kettle right there, QB1. He's leading the charge. So I want to see them come out and have another great performance like they did last week against San Diego up in Prescott Valley. They've got to get off to a fast start. Dave Lewis talked about how fast of a start they got off to last week against Tucson. They got off to a 16-0 lead and eventually lost it. So I want to see Northern Arizona get off to a fast start and keep that fast start going. And it's not going to be easy against Dalton Snead and that offense. They've got a really good offense there in Bay Area, but I believe this Wranglers defense is up to the challenge today.
I believe so, and I'm excited to see the offense back at work as well under the direction of Garrett Kettle. Obviously, last week he went out with the injury there late in the ball game, kind of got dinged up. Obviously, the Wranglers were up quite a bit at that point, so no need to put him back in the ball game and jeopardize and make it any sort of official injury. And Nick Watson able to step in there and be more than serviceable last week. Had a great rest of the ball game there for the Wranglers then.
Oh yeah, James. Nick was strong. 7 of 10 for 84 yards and the one long touchdown pass to Ryan Wisniewski. Again, Wisniewski, a heck of a game last week. 4 of his 5 catches were for touchdowns. A $125 through the air. Ramad Al Bowman, 6 for 87 and 2 touchdowns. So I'm surely looking. I'm sure number 5 is going to be looking to those 2 young men quite a bit tonight, as they are 2 major weapons in this offense.
There you see Coach Moss getting ready to lead the troops out on the field. We'll keep it right there at field level here for a couple more minutes until they come out onto the field. That is fantastic.
Look at Coach Moss.
We appreciate you folks joining us here on the pregame show. It's so much fun to bring it to you. We got a couple of folks chiming in as well, Ed. There, Matt Fadgen saying "Go Wranglers" from a little bit earlier, and then Sonia Maggie also checking in. Good luck tonight, Wranglers. There you see it on the screen, and the boys about ready to come out onto the field there at the SAP Center.
There we go.
Good looking stuff right there.
Like you, I do love the icy whites, the white on whites. Those are cold uniforms. I love that look. You see Coach Moss he's looking around, getting his guys about ready to come out.
Coach Moran right there as well, getting ready to go. Looks like he's icing down the wrist there. What's going on with that? We'll have to find out after the game. There comes Theo Machette.
There's Theo.
GK and the rest of the fellas taking the field now inside the SAP Center. How about that shot right there, Ed? The wonders of modern technology, my man.
It's great. Our director of communications,
yard for the win.
I love Tucker is right there getting all of those shots. Our director of communications, love that guy. There's Miss Laura.
Laura bringing it as well as always. Coach Windsor taking the field. And once again, we encourage you to make your way over here just shortly to the IFL YouTube channel for the game call. It'll be Mr. Dave Lewis and Steve Pappen. They'll have the game call for you. And make sure you make your way back here after the game for the Northern Arizona Wranglers postgame show. We will check in with some players postgame and get their reactions from tonight's ball game. I'm excited to do that, Ed, but we got a lot of football to play first off, my man.
Yeah, so for you, what are your keys to victory today, JP? What do you need to see the Wranglers do to get their 3rd straight win?
Well, I definitely think they'll have to have a strong performance from the offensive line. That's going to be number one, providing protection for Kettle or Nick Watson, whichever quarterback is in there tonight for the Wranglers. They got to be ball security has got to be a premium tonight for the Wranglers. They got to make the receptions in the open field, and then they got to hold on to that football, and then they got to make the open field tackles on defense, because we talked about Dalton Snead and these other guys for the Panthers, very dangerous weapons, and this defense is going to have quite the challenge tonight. They got to be sure tacklers.
I want to see numbers like they had last week against San Diego. 7 pass breakups, 10 TFLs, 3 sacks. So this defense has got to come out as strong as they did last week, if not stronger, JP, if they wanted to get to Dalton Sneed and make it a difficult afternoon for him out there in San Jose.
It's going to take all guns a-blazing as you see the pregame festivities there underway on the field inside the SAP Center. It's going to be a challenge, and it's going to be a fantastic game. So with just about 10 minutes to go until kickoff, that'll give you plenty of time to get some snacks, get an ice-cold beverage, and get a comfortable seat in front of your television to enjoy the call tonight from Mr. Dave Lewis and Steve Bappen there for the Bay Area Panthers. You see the Panthers now coming onto the field. How about the shot right there, Ed, for the pregame show? Absolutely magnificent.
Tuck is doing whatever he needs to do to get the shot. That's what you do in this business. Do what is necessary to get the shot with the pyro right there and the fog and just it's such a cool look as the Panthers come on. That's a beautiful arena too. I love that arena.
It's absolutely magnificent right there. One more comment here. Shane Utzler, I believe I'm saying that right, Utzler. And there you see the Panthers coming out. Looks like they're going to be in their white pants, black jerseys, and gold hats tonight.
That's a nice look, too. That's a cool look.
It's a great look there. And Coach Arbette, we talked about it. He's really got these guys humming. And more than that, Ed, he's got them believing in what he's trying to do there in Bay Area.
Yeah, and like Dave said in the pregame interview with you, it's all about buying into the culture and what Coach Arbette wanted to do as soon as he was named head coach of the Bay Area Panthers. He wanted to set a tone and just a feel and a look for his football team. And he wanted all of his players, he wanted the entire organization to buy into what he wants the Bay Area Panthers to look like. And so far, he's getting it done so far. They're playing really well. And this is a huge matchup, JP. This very well could potentially be a Western Conference championship matchup. Who knows? These are two outstanding football teams. And I can't wait for this game to go on. And I cannot wait for Bay Area to come up to Prescott Valley later on in the season. You know, that's going to be another battle.
Speaking of going on, it is going on right now inside the SAP Center. We're giving you a live look at the YouTube IFL broadcast there in your big screen, along with the field level shot there from our Director of Communications, Tucker Welch, who obviously very busy now. He had to tap out and get things going there. The game is going to kick off in 8 minutes. We encourage you once again to get over to the IFL YouTube channel and enjoy tonight's broadcast between your Northern Arizona Wranglers and the Bay Area Panthers. It's my pleasure to bring you the broadcast along with my broadcast partner, Mr. Ed Cole. Any final thoughts, Ed, here before we kick this thing off tonight?
1-2 versus 2-1. Northern Arizona, again, get off to a fast start, eliminate mistakes, play as mistake-free football as you can. Do not turn the football over. Try to eliminate the penalties and just stay laser focused on offense, defense, and play solid special teams like they have over the first 3 weeks of the season. And it'll be a tough victory, but it'll be a lot easier if they can play well in all three phases.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting indeed. David Kiefer also checking in with us here on the pregame show saying, let's go Wranglers. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to come back here and join us after tonight's ball game. We'll be right back here, same place, same channel, the Northern Arizona Wranglers YouTube channel for the postgame show. For my broadcast partner, Ed Cole, I'm James Poovey saying, let's ride, let's go Wranglers, and let's take care of the Bay Area Panthers tonight. Enjoy the broadcast tonight on the IFL YouTube channel and check back in with us for the postgame show.
Go Wranglers. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
That's it.